Welcome back, everybody, to more Final Fantasy VI, and also happy holidays, because over the last week, at least for those who celebrated, Christmas happened, and I hope everybody had a good holiday season. It's not done yet, because obviously there is New Year's, but I'm very glad that we at least had a good weekend that I could spend with my family. I hope you guys were able to do the same. And also, again, happy Thursday, everybody. We are 1 week away from, or at least as far as I'm concerned, a couple of days away from resuming active schedule. And I know a lot of people are going to be happy about that because they didn't like my reasoning for going into a full-on holiday break. So people have also been asking, like, how has your holiday break been going? Have you been able to get some rest? Have you been able to spend some time with family? Yes, I have. And it's been very valuable to me, and thank you guys so much for being patient with that. Just because my daughter's getting old enough that I did want her to enjoy what I consider to be her first Christmas, amongst many other things. But we still have New Year's, so we still have a couple more days. Now, people might be wondering why I'm back in Mobliz. Remember that Terra said if she had some time to think, she would actually consider rejoining us? Well, some time has passed since we last talked to her. And now we've heard that Katerin... I know, Katerin's going to have a baby. My mom looked like that before my brother appeared. So it looks like this Katerin is pregnant, and maybe Terra's helping out with the situation. So... Oh, and Dwayne was being mean to her, so Katerin took off. I'm guessing Dwayne is the father. I saw Dwayne kissing Katerin, so there you go. So yeah, if you wait a little while, then the story at Mobliz will resume, and you can actually recruit Terra. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. So again, I hope everybody's holidays has been awesome. For me, it's been busy enough that it's actually thrown all of the upload schedules into complete disarray, but don't worry, those schedules will resume next week. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like I'm going to get through every single review, but we'll be really close by then. So I think it'll take at least a couple of weeks more before we get those reviews finalized. But for those who are worried about that already, don't be. I am already working on the top 10s, because I'm far enough into that list now with raw recording that I can start making those lists and start writing them. So there you go. Hey, you guys. All right, so this is Katerin. And she actually is pregnant, so maybe we'll be gentle. Katerin's having a baby. Yeah, we've been hearing about this from the kids. No, don't worry about that. I'm so happy to have had a child, but Dwayne seems miserable. He's a first-time dad. That's what happens. It's not that you're miserable. It's just you don't know what to do. I'm speaking from experience, people. Katerin, I'm sorry. I didn't know how to handle this. Most first-time dads really don't. I've been an awful husband, but I'm learning. Please, come back with me. I cannot begin to tell you how many times I literally annoyed Andrea because I didn't know what she was going through, and I didn't know, like, how to respond to certain situations. Wow, Fubaba's back again! Oh, no! Well, please, save this village. I simply can't fight. Yes, you can, but that's okay. I'll keep Katerin safe. I feel safe when Drain's around. All right, so now we have to go and face off against Funbaba again, which is actually a fairly easy fight because we're pretty leveled by this point. So out the door we go. Oh, we're gonna go be awesome now. Now, I know some people were asking for, like, a legitimate story that happened over the holiday season. I don't really have one, like, a baby-related story. Aside from, we had a little bit of an accident at Christmas Eve. My daughter is teaching herself to kind of speed crawl. And unfortunately, she didn't, she occasionally trips over herself, so she had an accident where she was crawling on a hardwood floor and accidentally face-planted because of her tripping over herself. So she did have a little bit of a bruise, but she's had a good holiday season so far. That was one of the things also I was worried about. She hasn't been the most social baby. She's occasionally had the issue of there's just too many people in the room And so she gets a little overwhelmed by it. But thankfully, she hasn't had that reaction this year, so I'm very happy about that. Terra! He's kicking our butts! You need to help us! And with that, Esper form unlocks again. It's time for Terra to fight. She's ready. She has conquered her fear. Now, I'm also going to apologize in advance. People might be noticing a difference in the audio. I'm trying something new, so I promise that if it doesn't work, I'll go back to original. But I think this will solve some of the audio issues that are occurring not only on my videos, but also on Drak and Shadow videos. So if it's not working, obviously you guys can let me know via commentary, and we'll get it fixed. Thankfully, this guy isn't too freaking hard. We just gotta keep pelting him with poison. Ah, but now he's let loose Bolt 3, which doesn't hurt that much. But yeah, that's really the only major stories that I have. Like, my daughter actually tried to climb stairs for the first time and was successful. Granted, it was a small set of stairs, and she had assistance from Mommy, so, I mean, take of that what you will. But I'll at least take that as a victory. It's showing that she can at least do the rumblings of starting to walk. And with that, Funbaba is finally defeated. Now, what does this mean for Terra? This could be a problem. Alright, so the kids come out. And there's Dwayne and Katerin. Probably not the best way to introduce yourself, Terra. Yeah, Esper form was probably not the way to introduce yourself. Monster again! I'm afraid! I'm always afraid! Oh no, this actually has hurt Terra's feelings. Aww. Wait. Little girl going up to her. This is a good sign. This is a good sign. Mama? It is you, isn't it? I can tell. The little girl recognized her. Huh? Mama? Terra? Yeah. She's awesome. Mama! Terra! There you go. Let's completely forget the other two party members that got blown away. We don't know where they are. I can fight. Finally. I understand that feeling, even though I kept it buried for so long. I'm sure it's called love. I now realize that we must fight for the future of our children. Now, people might remember I actually did say she does go through a little bit of a character arc that does fix a lot of the issues that I had at the beginning with her. This is it. So she's... Like, she didn't know what it was like to fall in love. This is kind of teaching her what love is. Dwayne, Katerin needs your help. So does your new baby. Listen, children. Your mama has to go away for a while. I'll return when I feel your future is guaranteed. See, she now gets the legit concept of what love is. Mama, I'm not gonna cry. Me either. I'll be back. I promise. Till then, you behave. Or I'm gonna come down and nuke you with some magic. Thank you. You helped me to understand a part of myself. Hi, Storm Shadow. I can't ever get that out there. Now I must go to war. We must all believe we have a future. We must fight for those who aren't even born yet. Yeah. Well, speech balloons, you are my enemy right now. So yeah, this is the character turn that Terra goes through, and I honestly wish that this was kind of the Terra that you were dealing with 80% of the game. But, or at least something close to it. Because it's not like she's... The early parts of the game make her out to be very wishy-washy, very I don't get how things work and therefore feel sad for me. And then I like this Terra where she actually realizes that, you know, I don't need to fall in love to feel love. I can understand that a future, you know, the future is worth fighting for, and that's really all that I need. So this is actually whereas most of the game I don't like Terra, this is the point where I do like her. I do like her as a character. The only difference that I would compare her to, say, the other female protagonist of the Final Fantasy series, Lightning, is Lightning comes to these realizations a little bit sooner in the story than Terra does. So I will give her a little bit more credit in that regard. All right, and now people might have noticed we did have a full 4-person party, and it's been replaced with Terra. Okay, I promise we didn't permanently lose any party members. They're just back at the airship, but this is what had to happen in order to get Terra. So now that we have her, we can actually pursue the next character, which is actually one of the bigger dungeons of the endgame portion of Final Fantasy VI. So we took on Doma Castle. That's one of them. Another one is actually going to take us where Locke currently is. And as you guys can see, I transitioned into a grinding break to be able to beef up for that. Well, we're going to go look for Locke. And Locke is actually in one of the more difficult dungeons in endgame, specifically called the Phoenix Cave. All right, so really quick, you guys might see me doing a little bit of busy work here. I actually forgot to do it before I prepped for the Phoenix Cave, and we are going to need it. Mainly because this is also a dungeon where I'm trying to think if we've actually seen one that required this. I don't think we have yet. But this is a dungeon that actually will require us to split into multiple parties. That's one of the things that I like about 6 that in my opinion, hasn't been done the best in later iterations. This one actually lets you split into 2 groups. You get to pick them, because you have the parties to be able to do that. Eventually, when we go face Kefka, we can actually make 3. So we'll be doing that as well. Now, unfortunately, I'm looking around for the Phoenix Cave, which is freaking hard to find. But yeah, we are going to get Locke, but we're also going to get the Esper Phoenix, obviously. And there's another little errand that we need to take care of while we are in the Phoenix Cave. One of the 7 dragons that we need to kill in order to get the final major Esper Crusader is actually in there. So we will be taking care of the dragon as well. In fact, that's going to be a lot of our end game, is that we'll take care of a lot of the major dungeons, but then we'll start carving through the dragons to get Crusader. Right, we're going in. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and split the parties. And what I try and do is maintain at least some semblance of balance in them. As you can see, I put Terra and Celeste in separate parties. And the main reason is because they are both very powerful magic users. So I want to be able to have one of each. And by now, they both have at least Cure 3, I believe. So we don't have to worry about Cure spells being lacking here. Then I also do put a little bit of a physical assault in both of them. But as you can kind of see with the second party, I go a little bit more magic. Mainly because there are going to be some elements where physical is going to be helpful and others where it's not. So you want to make sure that you have that balance. But now we have 2 parties, which you can switch between, especially since a lot of the dungeons are going to be dependent on switching between them. And here we go. We're going to start up the Phoenix Cave. And while we're making our way through the dungeon, this is usually when I start talking about some of the business that I have to catch up on. But I've been on a holiday break, so a lot of my business, so to speak, has not been being done. I can already tell you guys... Well, let me clarify that first, because I have gotten questions about it. Yes, my active schedule returns as of next week. So next Monday, we are back doing Tale of Drakfu. We're back doing Dungeons and Dragfus, all that stuff. What's going to happen, though, is a lot of the sub-series that are there in between are going to be replaced for the next couple of weeks with Drak reviews. And it's only because I want to get the remaining games covered so that I can then go into the top 10 games of 2016. Now, I'm saying top 10 right now, but I want to make sure that I have 10, so that's just prototype title. Top 10 games of 2016, top 10 disappointing games of 2016, And also, I am going to add in a top 5 expansions in 2016. Even though like 80% of that will be Blizzard, I don't really care. Because sometimes you just want to be able to cover that stuff. And we did have a lot of expanded content come out this year. And I want to be able to give it its credit and its due. That being said, that's the plan. So what might happen is you'll get the expanded content because it's going to be top 5. You'll get that first, and then you'll get the top 10, or probably top 10 disappointing games, and then the top 10 games to end out the month. So then at that point, another question that I've been getting is, when are we expecting the WoW content? Here's what I did a lot in the holiday break. I recorded a lot of WoW content so that I can then do these top 10s. So that's going to be happening in the coming months. I've already started writing them. And I do have quite a number of top 10s, top 5s to be able to go through. Yeah, so you guys have lots to look forward in that regard. I'm also thankful to say that Drak Reviews is taking a break after that point because my first game for Drak Reviews isn't till February. Thankfully, that's gonna give me some time to catch up on all the other stuff that I'm doing and hopefully be able to get some rest in between. Because, yeah, this is going to be... We're going to be back to active schedule again, and I do get burned out fairly easily on that. So much so that I might actually... I don't know. I might need to time out breaks to be able to recuperate. Or if I actually do get sick, then probably to take that time. And that sucks for you guys, because you guys don't get videos, but... Well... I don't want to end up in the hospital. I've said this numerous times, but I don't. I don't know why anybody would. And, I've seen... I think Markiplier, actually, before he went on his holiday break, he had some cold flu issues. Or it was full-on bronchitis, I think. So, at that point, I don't want to be that guy. Especially since this is right in the middle of flu season. That would suck. As people are seeing, I'm already setting up the parties to have the proper relics, have all of the things that they need, as well as, since some people are a little backed up on the espers, we will also make sure that they are covered on that as well. Mainly, I want to make sure that they are learning some spells. Because now we're to the point where a lot of the spells are... you see a lot of them are times 10, times 5, and all that. A lot of the more rarer spells, the more powerful ones, are only times 1. So at that point, it's going to be a while to learn them. So you're seeing with, when I buzz by Starlet, she has Cure 3, and it's times 1. The only upgrade that you get from that is actually the Esper Phoenix, and it's a times 2. So that's kind of how things are going to go from here on in. That's how difficult it's going to get. Alright, so just trying to figure out some espers to give to people. Cyan, and here's the better part of it is most of my party is actually done with a lot of the magic that I currently have. So some people are just going to walk away with nothing because they have nothing to learn. So maybe they'll have Cure 3, but I only have one person that can teach Cure 3, or one esper that can teach it, so kind of up the creek there. And I think at this point I actually gave it to Terra, because Celeste has it, but I don't think Terra has it yet. That's okay, because she's still overpowered as crap. Alright, now that we've set up the parties, it's only appropriate now that we get the Phoenix Caves started. And this is the kind of dungeon that you're walking into. Somebody has to press a button so that somebody can walk over around and all that fun stuff. So that's just going to be what we go through. Oh, and another piece of business. I did say that I was going to make a thank you video for you guys. That's still happening. I do want to make a formal thank you video, especially for the end of the year, because it's been an amazing year. I know I've seen a lot of top 10s and everything like that. Every end of year video saying that 2016 has been a horrible, horrible year. And while I can agree with you, from a current event standpoint, yes, 2016 has been an absolutely horrible year. For my channel, I can't necessarily say that. For my channel, for Drak and Shadow, it's been more positive than anything, because we've had such a good reception with the YouTube community. We've gotten lots of brand new subscribers. We've started a bunch of brand new content. Geek News has even had a better reception this year than in previous ones. It just keeps getting better. So at that point, I can't say that 2016 has been all but a horrible year, because we've had a lot of positives happen in the meantime, and it's all because of you guys. So at that point, I mean, I'm not pandering here, but I'm speaking my honest opinion that, yeah, if you account current events, it's been a crappy year. But as far as what I do and what I'm passionate about, it hasn't been a bad one. It's actually been fairly positive, because I'm starting to see more of a reception from you guys. I'm starting to see some people giving me both positive and negative feedback that I can actually start working with a little bit more. It's been amazing. I don't know if you guys also saw in Drak and Shadow, another thing that's been awesome for us is we actually collaborated. I will get the word right eventually. We collaborated with an artist, Martanime, to make a brand new set of banners, logos, icons, thumbnails, all that stuff. So now Drak and Shadow has its own like individual branding. Nothing against the previous brand that we had, but a lot of that was assets from other things. And we did eventually want to get to a point where we had our own stuff. And so that's an awesome thing to be able to see these little animated versions of me and Alex up on your YouTube screen with thumbnails. And we also started a brand new Let's Plays there, because we literally ended everything before the month ended. So you guys get so we just barely started Donkey Kong Country. We barely started Phantasy Star Online, so you guys can check that out on Drak and Shadow. And then also on, well, as of today, it's not up yet, but it will be, is our next Let's Play that's going to replace Banjo-Tooie, and that is Jak 3. So we're going to start that up and finish the trilogy so that we can then move on to other things. So you guys have that to look forward to. We barely started up Mega Man 5. We're running a little late this year, but we're going to make it work. And there is actually one other piece that I want to get into, especially since we're getting kind of close to the end of the video, is I wanted to address the issue of Carrie Fisher. This is another reason why people think 2016 has been a bad year, is all of the deaths. We've had David Bowie, we've had Prince, we've had Alan Rickman, and now just recently, we had Carrie Fisher and her mother, Debbie Reynolds. And I have to be honest here, I don't know a whole lot about Debbie Reynolds. There are a couple of things that she's done that I've watched. I mean, she's from I believe she's from Singin' in the Rain, so I've seen that. But then her most recent stuff is not what I'm familiar with. I actually had to go reach out to people to find out she had done things like Touched by an Angel. She'd done a couple of Disney movies, things like that. And I will say this, I am going to miss Carrie Fisher. I'm glad. I know that like 80% of the discussion has been like Philip Seymour Hoffman, where people are happy that she at least got her episode 8 stuff done, but she was filming stuff for episode 9, I believe. So now they have to rework that because, well, she's passed on. I'm glad that happened, but I'm going to miss Carrie Fisher. I will admit I'm not the biggest Leia fan. I did like Leia in the movies, but I was always a Luke guy. In fact, Han kind of bugged me as a kid. I don't know why. But I was always a Luke Skywalker fan. So at that point, but I did appreciate Leia. What made me appreciate Carrie Fisher later in life was the fact that she would do some comedy routines and roasts and actually talk about, how being Leia has changed her life so much, and I've always appreciated that with her, and I've always appreciated her honesty on it. I wished I could have met her at least once, but sadly that wasn't possible. So thank you so much, Carrie Fisher, for all that you did for me and my fellow geeks. You will never be forgotten, and I would like to also say that you aren't going to just be remembered for being Leia. You've done some other things in your life that will also be remembered and be remembered fondly. As far as Debbie Reynolds is concerned, I mean, you're in stuff as early as Singing in the Rain, so where your daughter has a comfortable living because of film, you kind of paved the way for that. So at that point, Debbie, you will also be missed. I really wish I knew more stuff that you had been a part of and that I could say that I appreciate, but I'm sure I'll find it somewhere. Both of you will be missed just as much as Alan Rickman, just as much as David Bowie. And while I will admit that I'm one of those people saying, 2017 can't come sooner because I want the deaths to stop, but I will at least thank Carrie Fisher, Debbie Reynolds, Alan Rickman, David Bowie for all that they have done for me throughout my life, as well as for film, for theater, for creativity in general. Thank you so much. And I think that's actually going to go ahead and do it for this week. So when we get back next week, we will continue on in the Phoenix Cave.